Hey guys, so this is Kristen with Kristen Wynn Photography, and today I'm just going to do a quick video on the way that I load and back up camera cards after a wedding or session. It's something that I learned from a previous photographer that I worked for as an assistant back in like '04 to '09. So I'm going to kind of show you how that is. So I shoot 2 sets of cards throughout the wedding day. I shoot an SD card, which I have in this little baggie here. I shoot those. I shoot 1 set onto those, and at the same time on my 5D Mark IV, I also shoot to the CF cards, the larger cards. So all my cards are numbered so that I know I have them all. And so throughout the day, I like to use one large SD. I use a 64 gigabyte SD, so I never have to change this one. And then I like to use smaller CF cards. So I use 8 and 16 gig CF cards. And the reason for that, some people have different philosophies on this. Some people will say, well, I would rather shoot large cards, not take them out of the camera and lose, like physically lose a card. Other people say, well, I want to change out the cards frequently in case I have a corrupt card, I don't lose like the entire wedding day. So I think that I've kind of done the best possible system in that one card stays in all day, one card is switched out like every hour or two. So I feel like for me that mitigates the chances of something happening the best possible way, both physical loss and data loss. So I shoot those 2 sets of cards throughout the day. One card stays in my camera the entire night. The other card, as I'm shooting, I put it into a pouch in my apron. I wear like a waitress apron, and so I put it into a pouch in my waitress apron right here throughout the day. My assistant likes to put hers in like a little crossbody purse in a zippered section. So that's what we do throughout the day. Then we get home from the wedding and I will show you what's next. Okay, so the next thing I do is that I get home from the wedding. I take the SDs out of the camera and I either load them that night of the wedding, or if I'm exhausted, I literally like will sleep with them under my pillow or on my body. So then I have the SD cards, and then the CFs are in the apron. So then the next day when I load the cards, I load the SD cards first to my computer. So that's easy because it's just the entire wedding day gets dumped to my computer. And so I use a card reader that looks like this one now. Use that to do the SDs first. And I take what I call my cover sheet here. And I'll show you here. I just kind of note that I've done the small SD cards on the cover sheet, which I'll show you. Okay, so my assistant and I both have our own SD cards. I note those right here. I put check marks that those are completely loaded and that everything looks good with them. And then I briefly just look at those images and make sure that everything loaded correctly on there. Okay, so then how I do the CF cards is a little bit different. So you have like multiple cards throughout the day, like a typical amount of cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I can see yesterday my assistant shot 8 different cards. So what I do, you never want to forget to load a card and then you delete over it and then you are missing part of the wedding. I've heard horror stories from other photographers. So I'm going to explain how I do it and then I'm going to show you. So what I do is I insert the card into my computer. I can read 3 CFs at the same time. I insert the card into the computer. I write down how many images are on the card. Then I write down the time of the first image, like 10:20 a.m. And then the time of the last image on the card, like 1:23 p.m. I write that down on a piece of paper. I do that for every single card. And then at the end, when I've loaded all of the cards, I can see if there's any gaps throughout the day. And that means a card didn't get loaded. If you have an hour gap or you have, you know, even a 15 or 20 minute gap, it's unlikely that you wouldn't be taking pictures for 15 or 20 minutes throughout the wedding day. So if you have a gap, that means you are missing a card and you need to go back and check and make sure that you have everything. So I'll kind of show you how that looks. So here's my assistant. So you can see I loaded the SD card, which is a JPEG card. Then here, you can see I wrote down every chunk of the day. So 10:20 to 1:23, 1:23 to 2:40, 2:41 to 4:20. Then that jumps down here, 4:21 to 5:42, 5:42 to 6:01, 6:02 to 6:51, jumps back up 6:51 to 7:04. That's okay because that's during the reception. Maybe we're eating or something. 7:04 to 9:42, 9:44 to 10:59, and we ended at 11 o'clock. So I see I have absolutely no gaps throughout the day. I have all of the pictures. I check the number of files as I load them to make sure every file transferred to. And then at the bottom, I put a big check mark because all of my assistant's cards have been imported into the computer. Okay, so once I make sure that all the cards are in the computer, then I go and spot check the images. So just go back through and just load a few of the raw files into Photoshop or Lightroom just to check and make sure that they're all there, that everything looks good, that nothing got corrupted upon the import or anything like that. So I do all that. Then I back it up to 2 external hard drives, which I note here with like a label maker, everything that's on it. So I back up to 2 different hard drives. I put one like in my office, and then I put one off-site. So sometimes that's at my parents' house if I'm traveling, or it could be in my sister's car, my car. So I'll do that. When I get really paranoid, when I have a ton of weddings, I'll like carry this around in my purse with me just to make sure I have 1 copy at home, 1 copy on the hard drive. So I will have 4 copies of the wedding when I'm done importing everything. So desktop, external carried with me, external stored at the house, and then my 4th copy is loaded up on Dropbox to my editor Amy, so they're in the cloud. So 4 copies of the wedding, and then I place the cards. So then I do that. I place the cards in labeled baggies. Like this one says K cards. So this is my most recent wedding. They'll be in labeled baggies that I put in a box in my house, and I try not to shoot on those cards again until that wedding has been delivered. So that's how I do my card management system to hopefully keep things safe and to avoid like human error in regards to cards. So I hope that helps you out. I know it's kind of a boring topic, but the numbering and the writing down of the times is how I was taught to do it, and that's helped me throughout the years to make sure that I don't leave off a card that has like the cake cutting or something on it. So so that's how it works. I hope that helped you guys out if you're newer or if you're trying to see how other people do some of their office work. That's the way I do it. Okay, so I just thought of something that I take for granted that people know, but then I remember that we all start somewhere. And so when I first started working for an assistant, the way he told me to do cards, and this has proved invaluable to me, is that if the card is ready and blank to be shot upon, you put it facing this way with like the 8 gig and the branding stuff out, like outwards facing. Then once you shoot the card throughout the day, you put the card back in the case upside down so the blank back is showing. So for me, I know if I see the white back, that card is full, and if I see the regular front, that card is ready to be shot. I also separate mine in 2 different parts of my apron. Bottom is blank, top is full. My assistant does the same thing, 2 different sections of her purse that she wears. So that's how we do that. And then I also realized I didn't explain that also we keep the cards on our body. So my assistant wears her crossbody bag the entire day. I wear my apron the entire night. Don't take it off till I get to my house. So that way, if like heaven forbid, if you're keeping cards in the camera bag, heaven forbid if somebody steals your camera bag at the reception, or if somebody would like maybe mug you on the way to your car after the reception, they would get all of the camera cards from the wedding. Like obviously let them have the equipment, who cares, but I don't want my cards in the camera if my camera gets stolen. So I separate used cards and keep used cards on your body. So I hope that helps you out. That is just something I thought of as I was sitting here loading cards that I didn't explain that.